The day began like any other in Pinewood Estates. I kissed my wife goodbye, helped my 10-year-old son Liam pack his lunch, and watched from our front porch as he headed to the bus stop at the end of our quiet cul-de-sac. We'd only settled into the neighborhood 3 months ago, and while the HOA's strict rules were a bit over the top, like mandating beige trash cans, were managing just fine. What I didn't see coming was my son becoming the target of our HOA president's latest crusade. I was halfway through my coffee when my phone buzzed. It was Liam. "Dad," he said, his voice shaky, "there's a lady at the bus stop yelling at me about my backpack. She says it's against HOA rules and I can't wait here." In the background, I could hear a sharp, grating voice insisting he put me on speaker. "I'm on my way," I told him, keeping my tone steady despite the irritation bubbling up. I grabbed my keys, opting not to take my work truck. Sometimes it's better to keep your title under wraps. As I neared the bus stop, I spotted a woman mid-40s, with perfectly streaked blonde hair and that unmistakable "I need to see the manager" bob looming over Liam. She was decked out in high-end yoga gear, while waving her arms at his green and yellow Ninja Turtles backpack, a gift I'd given him for his birthday. He clutched it tightly, shielding it like it was his lifeline. "Excuse me," I said, my voice calm but edged with authority from years of training. "Is there an issue here?" She whirled around, her face a mask of smug outrage. "Yes, there's absolutely an issue," she snapped, her tone dripping with superiority. "I'm Linda Grayson, president of the Pinewood Estates Homeowners Association, and your son is blatantly violating our community aesthetic standards." I rested a hand on Liam's shoulder to steady him. "What's the violation exactly?" I asked, genuinely puzzled about how a kid's backpack could break any rule. Linda yanked out her phone and scrolled with exaggerated flair, clearly relishing the moment. "Section 12, paragraph 3, she declared triumphantly. "All items viewable on community property must adhere to our approved palette of muted tones." That thing is a neon disaster. I blinked at her, stunned. "You're saying my son's backpack, his school backpack, breaks HOA rules because it's not beige?" She folded her arms, chin jutting out. "Rules are rules. The bus stop is HOA territory, and we have an image to uphold. Let one kid show up with a loud backpack, and next thing you know, it's anarchy, property values tank." I took a slow breath, forcing patience. "Ms. Grayson, my son's a kid waiting for his school bus. His backpack isn't a lawn ornament. This feels like a stretch of HOA power." Her face turned crimson. "Don't you dare lecture me about HOA power," she hissed. "I've run this board for 6 years. I know every rule inside out. Your son needs to leave this bus stop now, or I'm calling security." I couldn't help a small laugh at the idea of security over a backpack. Liam glanced up at me, his eyes wide with unease. "It's okay, bud," I said softly. "You're fine." The school bus rumbled into VYEW, and I nodded for Liam to get ready. Linda stepped between him and the curb, her voice icy. "He's not boarding from here with that backpack. Rules are rules." That's when I decided to pull rank. "Ms. Grayson, I'm not just Liam's dad, I'm Captain Michael Harper of the Pinewood Police Department. You're currently blocking a minor from public school transportation, which could be seen as interference." Her eyes widened briefly before narrowing again. "Being a police captain doesn't exempt you from HOA regulations," she shot back, though her voice wavered slightly. The bus doors hissed open. "Go on, Liam," I said, guiding him past her. She grabbed my arm, her manicured nails digging in. "This isn't over," she snarled. I gently pried her hand off. "Please don't touch me again," I said, my tone low but firm. Liam hesitated as he climbed aboard, looking back with worry. I gave him a reassuring nod as the doors shut and the bus rolled off. "You've just made a big mistake," Linda said, jabbing a finger near my chest without making contact. "I'm holding an emergency HOA meeting tonight. We'll see how long your family lasts here with fines piling up." I kept my cool. "Ms. Grayson, I'd love to see the exact bylaw governing the HOA control over kids' school gear. Can you point me to it in the covenant?" Her smugness flickered. "It's under aesthetic guidelines," she insisted. "As president, I can interpret them as I see fit." I nodded thoughtfully. "Interesting. I'll be at that meeting tonight then. Mind if I bring the county code officer? They've been itching to check our HOA's compliance with state laws." Her eye twitched at the mention of outside oversight. "Just keep your son and that hideous backpack off community property," she snapped. then stormed off toward her pristine house across the street. I watched her go, already planning my next move. This wasn't ending with a retreat. That afternoon, I made calls first to our lawyer, then to neighbors who'd grumbled about Linda's heavy-handed tactics. By dusk, I'd uncovered a trail of harassment and questionable HOA overreach. The emergency meeting was set for 7 p.m. at the clubhouse, and I arrived early in uniform. It wasn't my usual approach, but a little authority can keep things civil. Linda was already there, flanked by her loyal board cronies. She froze mid-sentence when she saw me walk in. "Evening, everyone," I said with a polite nod. "I hear we're here to talk backpacks." A few residents snickered, which only fueled Linda's glare. "This isn't funny, Captain Harper," she sneered, mocking my title. "It's about preserving our standards." She launched into her presentation, complete with a slideshow featuring a close-up of Liam's backpack snap that morning, no doubt. "This is the kind of blight that drags our property values down," she proclaimed. When she finished, she stared at me, expecting surrender. Instead, I stood voice even. "Thanks, Ms. Grayson, for raising this. Before I address the backpack, let's talk about something bigger." I pulled out a folder. "This morning, Ms. Grayson physically stopped my 10-year-old from boarding his bus, grabbed his arm, and blocked him. 2 neighbors saw it from their windows. The room went quiet. When I stepped in," I continued, "she grabbed me too, leaving these marks." I showed the faint scratches. "Under state law, that's assault, doubly so against a kid. Plus, blocking school access violates education statutes." Linda leapt up, furious. "That's ridiculous. I was enforcing HOA rules." The board shifted uncomfortably. "Ms. Grayson," I said calmly, "no HOA rule trumps state law or lets you manhandle people, especially children. I've read our covenant. Nothing regulates temporary items like backpacks or extends color rules to personal stuff." I turned to the crowd. "I'm not here to file charges, though I could. I'm here as a dad and neighbor who thinks our HOA's lost its way. I've also invited County Inspector Phillips to review our practices." Linda paled as a stern woman in a county jacket rose from the back. "This is outrageous," Linda sputtered. "You can't bring in outsiders without board approval." Inspector Phillips stepped forward. "Actually, any resident can request a review. Based on what I've seen, there's potential harassment and uneven rule enforcement here." Then came the twist I didn't predict. Linda lost it. "This is a takeover," she shrieked, pointing at me. In her fury, she hurled her thick HOA binder at me. I dodged, but it slammed into Philip's shoulder. Gasps filled the room. I switched to cop mode. "Ms. Grayson, hands behind your back. You're under arrest for assaulting a county official." Her jaw dropped. "You can't arrest Mancho President," she yelled as I read her rights. As I let her out, the board scrambled, voting unanimously to strip her of her title on the spot. "You can't do this," she wailed, passing the bulletin board where her name once reigned supreme. "I've kept this place perfect, property values, standards, everything." Next morning, Linda was bailed out, facing assault charges and a restraining order keeping her 100 feet from Liam and our house. A news crew greeted her at the courthouse. Apparently, an HOA boss attacking a cop's kid was too good to pass up. "No comment," she screeched, hiding behind her pricey purse, but the cameras caught her unraveling. Linda's era of HOA tyranny wouldn't be remembered for her love of neutrals, but for her epic self-inflicted collapse.